Today's Toy Spot, we are continuing our looks at the Playmates toys Voltron, the legendary Defender, with having a look at the legendary Blue Lion. Line has a fire ice ray and also is one of the 5 lions to build the mighty 16-inch Voltron. Blue Lion, like the other lions, does have a warning choking hazard. Small parts not for children under 3 years of age. Coming to us from Playmates Toys. Coming to us from the Voltron Legendary Defender, from now currently streaming over on Netflix. The underside of the package shows you the 5 lions that are capable of being picked up. The black lion obviously being the more deluxe figure of the 5 lions. You can also head over to www.playmatetoys.com if you want to see the other Voltron released items that they're putting out there. Back of the package, read-up says the Blue Lion's water powers make it a must-have for any battle, ready to kick it into high gear. It features also 20 points of articulation and includes a speeder with pilot Lance. Very, very cool. Can't wait to get all these lines put together. As you probably have already heard on these reviews, Voltron was a go-to cartoon for me. It's one of my top, I would say one of my top 5 favorite cartoons growing up. So new Voltron cartoon, new Voltron toys makes me very happy. Spot's going to take a break though. Speaking of happy, I'm going to take a break, get this opened up. We're going to experience more joy having a look at these brand new Voltron figures, and we're going to get ourselves closer and closer to finally completing a 16-inch Voltron. There's more anyway, guys. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. Alright, so now let's have a look at the Blue Lion. First things first, the Blue Lion does come with a similar projecting missile launcher that's going to go onto the top of the line. It is a little bit different, granted, than the green line and the red line that we had already a look at. This kind of looks like more like a prong, something like you would see on a beetle, which I think is kind of cool. It doesn't actually have a connector point though. Instead, they favor more a clamping system to attach this to the line. So you want to just take it and basically clamp it over the top. Basically what you need to do, see these little ledges here? Hopefully the camera will let me show you this. See those little ledges right here? These prongs snap underneath. Let me do this again so you can see what I'm talking about. Line it up to these little sections, these little ledges here, and just snap it or kind of just pinch it over these little notched areas. And that keeps the missile launching apparatus in place. Then you can take the projectile, pop that into place. Now this one does not seem to have, well, it has a trigger point on the top, but it's not an enclosed point. So what I initially thought was you flicked it, but no, the button is right at the top. It's just a little bit more concealed. It fires off, but it doesn't seem to fire off as great as a distance as the other 2 lines that we already had a look at. So we'll just go ahead and take this off. I love how these kind of beef up the lines so that they're not just the regular lines that we normally have seen. It makes them all very unique to one another. In fact, let me show you what I'm talking about here. Of course, you've already seen these videos, I'm sure, but we'll clamp that on top and we'll just move the blue line out of the way. We'll bring in the green line that we already had a look at, and we'll also have a look at the red line that we also had a look at. They're all very different. The red and the green very, very much relatives to one another in the way of a mold. Similar into the way that the blue is going to look, very similar to the yellow. Of course, a little bit of tooling here and there. But always by nature, the blue and the yellow lions have always been bulkier lions because the blue and the yellow are going to form the legs for Voltron, whereas the green and the red, a little more slender because they're going to be eventually the arms. A nice contrast, though, between the slender profiles of the 2 yellow or to the 2 green and red lions, comparing that to the more bulkier aspects of the blue lion. We'll just move these guys out of the way. And we'll move the red lion out of the way. And let's get this apparatus off. This doesn't sit as well like it does. You have to get it just right for it to stay in place. And one downside, if I had a downside to this, it does hide a little bit of the head. The head becomes a little bit more obstructed by this being on top of it. At any rate, we'll move that to the side. The blue line, much like the other lines, does also come with a little blue speeder, matching the colors of the line, the black and the blue, with a little bit of a lighter blue visor or dome portion of it of the cockpit. And we can go ahead and, like the other lines, we can just move the legs out of the way. There is an undercarriage, simply just accessing it with your finger, bringing that forward. And we'll just go kind of in between the legs here so you can see kind of this outline shape. The speeder slides, and you want to put it in by nose first. Slide it up and fit it into place. And it doesn't seem to be going anywhere. Then you can go ahead and close it up. I love how toys do this. Some of the Power Rangers have done this as well, where you have a smaller pod or smaller ship that goes into the actual body of the larger vehicle. From a play standpoint, and I'm imagining myself as a younger child, I think that would add for much more playability by incorporating an actual area where the pod goes in. So I do like that a lot. So like I said, it's a much bigger, bulkier looking lion. One of the more notable traits of the blue line are these like little antenna prongs on the side. It always kind of reminded me, or at least looking at this, reminds me kind of Princess Leia. I don't know why I don't know why I think Princess Leia, but I guess there's some regards. There's a, you know, maybe not so much. Maybe not so much. I'm probably just seeing things. Coloring on the blue line is quite good. I don't really have any complaints thus far to the quality of the paint nor the execution of these lines. All of them so far, fingers crossed, have been really good. The line here, the blue line, is a little bit more... It doesn't flow as well as the green or the red, even though like the way it's constructed is about the same. Like the legs look not as fluent, as flowing as the counterparts of the yellow or of the red or the green. But again, no real issues for the look of it. I think it turned out really good. Now, it doesn't have as much the posability that the others have. One thing that gets forfeited and sacrificed is it doesn't have that middle point here that bends. Just by the nature of the fact it's turning into a leg, there's no reason why this has to move, even though a little bit of posability could have gone a long way there as well. Posability to go on the blue line. This is one case where the line's head does move up and down. The other lines did not have that. They were only rotated side to side. This one does move up and down only by virtue that, again, it's going to turn into a leg. So it kind of needs that for transformation, because this section here will come up. And again, it's going to become the leg portion. Okay? So there's its posability in the way of its head. It does still have the spring hinge on the mouth. Yum, 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 yum. The legs do have a forward and back ratcheted motion, a ratcheted midpoint to the leg, and a ratcheted lower portion right in the paw. The back hind leg has the same idea, nice ratcheted joint there. A mid joint, although it's not ratcheted here. There's a ratchet here at the third hinge, and then the bottom foot, surprisingly enough, do have ratchets, even though the green and the red, neither of them had ratchets there, ratchet joints. All right, so let's get this guy formed. We're going to make him into the blue line. We're going to make it into the foot portion. It's a little bit different, obviously, than the red and the green. So to do this, it's similar in the sense that you're going to still fold the legs in like that, and fold this one in like that, and you can straighten these out. That's going to be the top of the leg. You can push the tail in as well, which can be a little difficult, this particular tail. I don't know why this one fights as much as it does. It doesn't seem to want to go in as easy as the other lions. I've noticed this actually a couple of times during, just before I started reviewing this lion. Its tail does not really want to go in very well, and I don't know why it's fighting the way that it is. We'll have to just kind of work away at that a little bit before we start looking to Voltron. Then for the front legs, you want to do something a little bit different. You want to fold these in, but the feet are going to want to sit, essentially forming back heel portions for the leg to add for a little extra stability. Then you just want to bring this forward, bring the head up, and you just kind of adjust that into place until everything is nice and comfortable. And there is essentially the foot portion of what will be Voltron's leg, like that. I don't know why the tail is as difficult as it is. It doesn't seem to... Oh, there we go. It was probably stuck on something. Guess if you rotate it... I wonder if you can rotate these. No, it was just stuck on something. It's happened now twice already. There you go. Now we got a foot. The only thing we still have to do is still have a look at the yellow line. Then, of course, we have to look at the red line, or the black line. And then we can eventually put together a Voltron that I'm so far really excited to get put together. I mentioned in one of the videos that I opted to pass, even though I'm such a huge Voltron fan, I passed on getting the Matty Collector Voltron lines, because even though the lines looked cool, I didn't want a Voltron so large. I think Playmates has given us a good size, being about a 16-inch Voltron, so I think it's a good size for a big Voltron, but not overly big. Again, we're gonna look at the yellow line, still gonna look at the black line, so those videos will be coming your way. Today's Toy Spot, though, we're having a look at the legendary blue line from the legendary Voltron line of figures. Stay tuned, guys. Like I said, two more videos, yellow, black, Voltron. We're gonna make it happen. Certainly stay tuned for those. Thanks for watching. See you next time.